Welcome to the Hidden Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Omar Hargrove, and today we're going to be talking about planning your best year yet. Simple steps to set and achieve goals. Now, every great accomplishment starts with a vision, and every vision becomes a reality with a plan. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of things, accidental accomplishments that happen along the way. But as we step into this new year with a new chapter, it's a perfect time to set some meaningful goals and map out the steps to achieve them. But I think that when it comes to goals and them being achievable, this idea of how do you really get motivated or align these years to meet these different goals. And I'm talking about like goals within the year as well as like, looking forward to future goals. But it's the idea that goals without a plan end up just being these like, I hope this happens. They become these wishes, wishful thinking, or things that we lean into with our hearts, but not really with our actions. And by setting clear goals, breaking them into actionable milestones and building accountability into this process, you're able to create this year of progress and growth. And we're going to talk about really how to do that, not in the simplest way of I hope this happens, but really trying to make this roadmap to make this year feel more productive and impactful. So, we're going to kind of go into this like 5-step approach to setting meaningful goals and planning your year with actionable milestones. Now, again, there might be like one major theme goal that you're trying to achieve in a year, but we're going to try to reflect on past years to define like where we should start right now. So before you start setting goals, it's important to take a step back and reflect on where you've been. What happened last year? Did you set any goals last year? Did you take any steps to making them happen last year? What went well? What didn't go so well? What did you learn? Reflection helps us be able to understand patterns and growth areas, and it helps these wins that can guide our goals in moving forward. So ask yourself, what are 3 things that I'm proud of from last year? What's one challenge that I want to overcome? And this simple process gives you more clarity on what matters most to you right now. It might take like even, a couple minutes, maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes of journaling and talking and even talking with somebody that you trust. Maybe you're talking with your team. If you have a mentor, then great, but like try to have some conversation and dialogue about these different reflections you're writing down in your journal and use them as insights to build as a foundation for this year. So now let's go into this. It's a silly acronym, but in order to set SMART goals, that means it's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So a great goal it isn't something vague or abstract. It's clear and actionable. Like, say, this year I want to learn Spanish. Like that's a clear goal to where I will know once I achieve it. It's not this vague undertone like I want to be more patient. Like, yeah, that's what we call aspirational, to where it's kind of something you're always reaching for. But you want your goals to be clear and definable. And that's where this SMART framework comes in. So instead of saying something like, I want to get healthier, a SMART goal would be, I am going to start exercising 3 times a week, or I'm going to start counting my calories. It's this idea of doing something very specific, measurable, and achievable that's relevant. It's time bound, like you're really putting these this clearly defined idea of what is going to make you healthier. It's very specific. So take these big ideas and turn them into SMART ideas. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve, and why does this matter to me? And that why really also is a big part, because sometimes we have these goals that sound nice, or maybe we saw somebody else achieve something and we're like, well, I want that. It's kind of like that Joneses effect, like keeping up with the Joneses, to where you thought your car was just fine. You never even thought about your car, but then your friend gets a new car and you're like, well, I kind of want a new car. And so you start chasing other people's goals instead of your own. That's why it's really important to understand your own why. You gotta to really make it personable. And and consider why it matters to you, because what might look good on somebody else might not feel good when you try to do it. So, and finally, how will I measure my progress, and what is my timeline? That timeline is really important. We'll break it out into this next one, which is break your goals into quarterly milestones. So big goals can kind of feel overwhelming. It's like the idea, like I want to be a millionaire. That's kind of overwhelming. Or I want to just retire before I'm 40. It's like that's still kind of vague. It's the idea of like having a timeline, but we want to kind of build out smaller, and then we can kind of get to these bigger ones. That's like 10 years down the road or whatever. Breaking them into smaller steps makes it feel more manageable. And this idea of quarterly milestones for your year is a great way to track progress and stay motivated throughout the year. For example, if your goal is to, say, write a book by the end of the year, your milestones might look like this. Like the first quarter, you're outlining your book. The second quarter is you're going to write your first draft. Your third quarter is you editing and revising, and your fourth quarter is to finalize and publish. And so it helps it to break out these timelines to where you have this big goal and you're making it smaller and smaller. Write down your own milestones and review them at the start of each quarter, and this will help you stay focused, and it helps you make adjustments along the way. For example, for me, I like to print out like a year calendar, but so the way it looks like, I'll make my own I have like a personalized journal where I put very specific notes that I can print out, and adjust really uniquely. But as an example, for me, I'll put like all of my months out, so 12 months of the year, but each month has like a little box with like a little miniature to-do list, and it's things that I want to achieve by that month. And so for me, on this tone of books, I've been really getting into publishing books lately, as many of y'all that follow me can tell. And a lot of it is that it's content that I've actually saved over the years. Like for the 15 years that I'm going to be in ministry and public speaking, I have saved all of these notes over the years, and now I'm like compiling them into book form. So a lot of manuscripts, a lot of different writings that I'm just now putting together. And so with that being said, I have multiple books that I'm working on at once. And so I'll break out my year. I've written down like what month I want to release each book. And it's this idea where I have these steps within my year of what I'm wanting to happen that specific month, whether it's writing a book or whether it's even an anniversary. Maybe I want to just as this personal goal, like making my marriage better. I want to know that this anniversary is important, and that month is what I'm going to focus on entirely, is this anniversary that I want to make special. And so again, it helps you to not skip important dates. It helps you to be able to give the right amount of value and honor to the things that matter to you, by just simply looking at your year and writing down what is meaningful for this month, this month, this month. What should I strive for this quarter, and etc. So now, let's talk about planning your weeks with actionable steps. Once you've set quarterly milestones, it's time to, again, get smaller, more granular. And what do you need to do this week to move closer to that goal? This is where planning turns into action. For example, if your quarter one milestone is to outline a book, your weekly tasks might include researching topics, brainstorming chapter titles, writing a draft outline, even just like writing maybe try writing your table of contents and build it out from there. Dedicate time each week to plan out your tasks, to block time on your calendar, to prioritize what's most important, and be sure to celebrate these small wins as you check off each step. I like doing paper to-do lists, even though I'm constantly having to do more. But when I have it on paper, I like being able to almost like see my tasks, the tasks that I've completed. On my phone, it'll like go away after I'm done it. So it almost makes me feel like I haven't done anything like subconsciously. But when I have it on paper, I was like, okay, I did actually do a lot. Look, I've done this, this, and that. And so whatever works for you, but it's this idea of being able to celebrate like, oh, I am being effective. I'm being productive. In making those action steps that you're taking feel a little more powerful as you check them off. Now, number 5 is for us to build accountability into your plan. So take this lightly, take it with a grain of salt, but accountability truly is this key to helping you stay on track. When you share your goals with someone you trust, it creates this layer of responsibility that helps you to stay focused. You don't want this person to be like a chaperone to you. You want it to just be this level of accountability, like a friend or a mentor. Even like if there is a group of people, maybe you're like a part of a team leadership group or something like that. You could even bring this before them, like this year I really want to do this, and you can you can check in with them on and have more dialogue about it. And when you hit those roadblocks, you can talk to them about it. Say like, yeah, I really wanted to do this, but I'm struggling to get this or this done. And they can help even give advice or encourage you through those times. So being able to find that kind of accountability, whether it's a partner, whether it's a group who shares that kind of drive for growth, be able to have these regular times where you can talk about it. It helps create momentum and helps you stay motivated when you feel like just dry or you feel like things get a little more difficult. And here's like one more bonus tip is for you to stay flexible and embrace growth. While setting goals is important, we should remember that life is very unpredictable. If you end up, say like you get pregnant, you or your partner get pregnant and you end up having a baby this year, that might throw off your goals. And it's reasonable to adapt as your life has dramatic changes. Goals and plans may need to shift along the way, and that's just simply okay. Flexibility allows you to adapt without losing sight of your vision. Continue to keep walking in that direction, but when it seems like it's defeating the purpose of what you want, like take a moment to breathe and see if you need to reevaluate. As you work through your goals, take time to celebrate the progress, not just the finish line. And every step forward is a step closer to becoming the person that you want to be. For as an example for me, as far as like being flexible, like a small thing is like last year, my goal was I was going to work out in the mornings and cold plunge every day, and I pretty much did that. I accomplished my goal as like a little personal goal, and I wanted to be able to prove this sense of discipline myself. And then once the year ended, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a breather. I feel a little burnt out. I'm going to take a month off to recalibrate and see what I want to do this year. And it's not saying that I'm never going to do cold plunges again, or I've still done them like periodically, just not first thing in the morning. And it's like just this month where it's like, okay, like let me rest. I feel like this need that I need. I feel a little burnt out. I want to rest and refuel myself, and then get back on this wagon and pivot how I want to move forward in this year. So again, be flexible. Try to listen to your body. Try to listen to your heart, your mind. And even take time to schedule like mid-year reviews to reassess your goals, to adjust milestones as needed. So all that being said, let's recap with the 5 steps to set goals and plan your year effectively. We talked about number 1, reflect on past year to understand your starting point. Number 2, set SMART goals that are clear, actionable, time-bound. You're wanting to make it clarity. It's not vague, not generic, very clear and articulate. Number 3, break your goals into quarterly milestones to track progress. And number 4, did I say 3, 4? So number 4, plan your weeks with actionable steps to stay focused. And number 5, build accountability into your plan to maintain momentum. And remember, the last thing we said was to stay flexible, celebrate progress along the way. This idea of growth and goals, it's a journey and every step counts. So with all that being said, I hope that this podcast episode was meaningful for you. I hope that was edifying for where you're at in your life and your leadership. Can you do me a favor? Leave me a rating and review for this podcast. It really helps for others to be able to see this show in their feed, and it really means a lot to me. That being said, until next time, have a great life. Well, there you have it. I hope that this episode was meaningful and edifying for your leadership and your growth within your ministry and organization. Could you do me a favor? Could you leave a rating and review for this podcast? It'd really help me out and help others be able to see this show in their feed. You can also visit homerhargrove.com to be able to learn more, connect, or become one of our supporters. Until next time, have a great life.